Hey guys, it's been a while. Sorry for taking such a long hiatus. I've just been really busy with school, life, and a lot of other stressful things, family. Just, you know, teenager stuff, and I guess I turned 18, so I'm an adult now, legally. So right now I'm going through Hurricane Irma, and you could probably hear it outside. My family is in here. You'll hear the wind roar every once in a while or something, but I'm pretty safe right now. So anyways, I'm just doing this quick tutorial before my battery runs out. So so just to do something and not be as stressed. So this video will probably go out in a couple days after Irma. The power is out here, and I am doing this on my laptop. So it might be not the best quality or not the best, it might be laggy even. So let's get started. I'm sorry again in advance for any glitches or lag. So here we go. First you pull up a new scene, and as you saw me do there, just delete the standard scenario. I didn't even say what we were gonna do. Oh right, we're gonna make a screw, or a spring, better said. Yeah, spring. Type of thing, and you'll find that you'll need to make these springs a lot when you're modeling mechanical devices, and if you want to be extra detailed, or if you just want to make a spring for no reason. So let's start by adding a cylinder, just a standard old cylinder, you know, nothing special about it, not yet. So just add that up. It doesn't have to be the 32 sided cylinder. It could be the whatever, how many polygons you want. It could be low poly, it could be high poly. So either way, this is just going to be our reference point. So add a circle inside. This one again doesn't have to be 32. Let's actually lower this down to 16. And so lowering it down to 16, you could keep it at 32 if you want. It doesn't make a difference. Let's scale this inwards by just clicking S. Rotate it by the Y-axis or the X-axis, whichever you want, and move it to the side. Oh, scale it 90 degrees by the Y-axis in my case. X-axis 90 degrees if you want, and just put it on the side of your cylinder. Let's make this smaller and put it right there. So after that, go to the modifier tab, to the drop down, and just look for screw modifier. It'll make this weird little whole thing. So click on the eyedropper tool and pick your cylinder, or you could just click it on the drop down if you named it something specific. Alright, so after that you'll see you created this circle, like a ring type of thing. And you'll see it's a different shade of gray than the cylinder. That's because the normals are inverted. Right now the normals are inside of the cylinder of this ring, and we want them to be facing outside of the ring in order for a better render to come out. So just go down here and click on flip, and you'll see it'll come to more or less the same shading as the cylinder in the middle. So after that, this is more of a ring, and we want a spring. So to do that, we just up the screw factor, and you'll see we'll start getting a sort of spring effect. Now the spring isn't really a spring, because right now there's only that. It's not much of a spring. It's like 1/4 of a spring. And so to fix this just increase the angle, and it'll start spinning around the cylinder. But as you can see, we start having this problem where it's basically taking the same geometry. It's not adding enough geometry to create a circle. So instead it creates a triangle that sort of reminds me of Linkin Park's logo. Which now makes me sad, because I'm actually a huge Linkin Park fan, and I miss Chester. May he rest in peace. And so to fix this, let's carry on. Just increase the step value. This basically just adds more geometry into the corners, and makes it circular again. Now, keep in mind that every time you increase the angle, it's going to lower its geometry. As you can see, it starts lowering itself, so you have to increase it. Let's lower this out so I don't crash my computer. This is good enough, right here. So, right now you have your spring, and of course, if you're gonna make this small, no one's gonna see that these two little end pieces are like open. So you can just keep it like that. Just apply the modifier, and then delete your cylinder or hide it, and done. You'll probably hear my mom in the background because she just opened the door. Yes, I am 18. I just turned 18. I'm fresh out of high school into college, and I still live with my parents. So I'm gonna pause this so you don't hear the conversation in the background. So. Alright, so I'm back. You'll probably not notice because I did pause it. And so I'll probably leave like a blank space saying some goofy text. Where were we? Oh, right. But if you were making this into a larger object, I wouldn't know why you would need it larger, but if you were, you would have to close off these ends. If not, you would see very visibly that they were not perfect. So to close them, just simply, you could hit F and it will close it. I like to extrude it once, close it just so I have a bit more control. Extrude it again, Alt M, and go at center. That's Alt M. That'll give you a drop down that shows to merge all the vertices or the points that you selected at the center, at the cursor, or collapse. That's why that actually, never mind, that's wrong. It'll give me at first, that's the first selection that I made, and that's over there, that's the first selection that I've made. At last, that's the last selection that I made because I made an edge selection, so there is no select, but say I selected these two, and so I selected these two. The last one is this one that I'm circling my cursor over, so at last it'll go into that. If I say, oops, my bad. If I go at first, it'll go into this one. But if I go at center, it'll go into its center, right in between. At cursor and collapse means that it will just break it apart. And a cursor is just, it'll go wherever this thing is, right here. So once again, Alt M, add center. Now this just gives me a bit more control over like how, like if I want to extrude it. So I would just hit C, select that, extrude it, not extrude it, but like bring it out a bit, and you'll see here that it's like that. Oops, that's wrong. So I think it's with X, if not. So yeah, just bring it out, move it a bit, and then just grab its point and bring it out. And we'll have like a little nub there. And it's pretty good. That's pretty much all. And you do the same thing for down here in my case. But you can also, if you just want to leave it flat, just extrude it, hit F, and that's it. Now this does give you a certain problem. If you hit a subdivision modifier, you'll see that you'll start to shear it a bit here, and it's beveled. So all you have to do is add an edge loop, and that you do that by hitting Control R, click, use your mouse wheel if you want to add more, and it'll flatten it. You can do one on this side as well to flatten it out a bit more, and it'll do that. Let's do the same for up here. So this will create a little sharp right here, and it'll make it look a bit more mechanical at times, depending on what you want to do. After that, you just texture it the way you want in materials, and say let's add a simple plane, set this down, rotate 90 degrees. Set this down. Right now the origin point is at where the original circle is. If you want to change that, just this one's kind of tricky. Control Shift Alt C and go to origin to geometry, and it'll move it to the origin to the middle. That way you can control the geometry through the center. So say that. Let's go to camera. Control Alt 0 will move it to where you're currently viewing, and let's set it up. Say I want it around over here. Let's give this a material. Lower that down. Let's give you a material. We want this to be metallic. So let's go to the node editor. Now, the way I do metallics now is a bit different than I do before. I did get these nodes from Andrew something, I forgot, but Blender Guru, I think is his YouTube channel name. He made a tutorial about PBR shaders, although I think in Blender 2.79 it's gonna be called the principal shader and you'll be able to use that, but I have 2.78 for now. And my parents are back, so I'm gonna pause. And I'm back. So basically what this is gonna do, it's gonna create it to a metallic. Let's open the preview, and you'll see here it has a metallic with a little rim light to it, which what real metal has. But if I wanted to make it more flat here, but it's still metallic. This increases the roughness of it, so we'll make it around this rough. And I could add whatever color, but he also added metallic colors into his list. So I want to get iron, and that gives me iron. And so let's go back down into this one and rendered view. If you go to your camera and go down to dimensions, there's this little corner box that you can click off that just shows you where your camera is. That shows you. Another tip is to hit Control B and select what you want to render out, and it will only show you what's in the box. In this case, I just want the entire thing right here. And so as you can see, you can barely see that. So let's add a lamp and a sun. Bring that up so we can see it over here, and you can start to see the sun in the background. Oh, we added a metallic thing to our plane. Whoops, that's my mistake. My mistake. My bad. Alright. Let's add it to that and go to the plane and take it off of that and just add a standard, well, in this case I have another one, which is the dielectrics. Dielectrics are basically everything that's non-metallic. So let's just lower you down and increase the roughness by around that much, and that should be all. So as you can see, we're getting a lot of fireflies. There's a couple ways to get rid of fireflies. We either up the roughness of the metal and it'll lower it. I always keep this at 100, and if your computer supports it, go to GPU instead of CPU. These are just my settings that I found online. If we up the render samples, it'll slowly start to blot out the fireflies. So in this case, I'm gonna render this to actually about 800. Now, excuse me, Blender Guru once again did show off like what his favorite settings are. In this case, since I'm rendering on GPU, I mostly render at 150 by 150. These are the squares that are used to render out in performance, and these just give my renders a faster time to actually come out. So another thing I do is light paths. These are how many bounces of light there is, but since there's not many lights, I can lower it down to something like 8. and I won't lose any crucial details. And so after that, we just finish up and just hit render, and it'll start rendering. And that's around it for today. I'll probably either speed this up or just skip over to the end. There isn't much else. I know this isn't the best tutorial, probably found better ones on YouTube, but it helps me, it helps anyone that finds this useful, and it relaxes me for a bit because I got something to do. So thank you very much, and I guess I'll end it here. So see ya whenever I upload the next video. Hopefully I'll get off of hiatus soon, so see ya!